Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Mallard Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. lawmg.com. IU Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. alumni.iu.edu. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. State health officials are redoubling their efforts to make it easier to get COVID-19 shots.
You can't say it's about vaccine hesitancy until you've made sure that you've made the access appropriate.
Ahead, the push to reach Hoosiers who are reluctant or hesitant about the vaccine or concerned about side effects. The city of Bloomington is resuming its annexation process following years of dispute with the Indiana General Assembly and the governor. Coming up, a look at the annexation timeline and the public input process. And the emerald ash borer was first detected in Monroe County about 13 years ago. The beetles take over ash trees and kill them within 3 years.
When you lose a large tree, you lose the value associated with that large tree.
Coming up, we talk to experts about the best way to handle the invasive pests. Those stories, plus the latest news from across the state, right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. Indiana lags behind the national average for distributing COVID-19 vaccines, with just less than 27% of the state's total population fully vaccinated. While officials have yet to set a benchmark for herd immunity, the state's chief medical officer says herd immunity is achievable for the state this year, but she says the CDC and other experts are concerned about the consequences if the state doesn't reach that threshold.
That they are concerned about another large spike in the fall. So if you have not been vaccinated, then of course your risk of getting sick, being hospitalized, and even dying is much higher than the people who have been vaccinated.
State health officials are encouraging vaccine providers to accept walk-ins and working to get primary care providers access to vaccines. Well, all Hoosiers 16 and older have been eligible to receive COVID-19 vaccines for a month now. But as Mitch Legan reports, the rate of vaccinations across the state is slowing, especially in rural areas, and officials are becoming concerned about hesitancy by many to get the vaccine.
Getting a coronavirus shot is easier than it's ever been. But in many areas around the state, demand is falling off.
We used to have people begging to get on the wait list. We can't get anybody.
Steve Lyday spent most of April preparing what would have been Morgan County's largest vaccination clinic. The state provided 1,200 doses, and he was excited to offer residents the opportunity to protect themselves from COVID. But when the opportunity came, they weren't interested. The county had to cancel the clinic scheduled for last weekend.
We got looking at how many people signed up, and there was only 97 people. I had 40 medical professionals and volunteers going to show up just to conduct this clinic.
Despite the cancellation in Morgan County, the state passed an important milestone this week. A third of Hoosiers 16 and older are fully vaccinated. But Lyday says now he's not doing as many initial shots.
Mostly our people coming through are those receiving their second dose of Moderna. Very, very low percentage there for their first vaccines.
State health officials organized a news conference Wednesday to provide updates on the vaccine rollout and discuss trends.
We don't have any big announcements, just a lot of really good information to share, and a plea and an ask that you help everyone that you know in your family, your friends, and your community to get out there and get vaccinated.
The issue? Many of those who originally got the vaccine were older adults, most concerned about the virus. Now, many of those left are younger Hoosiers, and they don't seem to be very interested in getting the vaccine.
There's still this sense of invincibility in younger adults. You know, either they've scheduled it and they haven't gone yet, or they're still kind of waiting it out.
Handel says now, many of the people hospitalized with COVID that he's seeing are in their 20s and 30s. Brian Dixon has been tracking COVID data all pandemic and says two populations have been the wariest of getting vaccinated: young blacks and young conservatives. Considering the state's demographic makeup, that could be an issue.
Well, it is concerning, particularly for individuals who are in rural areas where we know that those areas also have a majority of people who lean conservative.
In largely rural Morgan County, Lyde says trust in the vaccine has plummeted.
When they hit the pause on the Johnson & Johnson, the bottom just fell out.
Now, those working the clinic in Martinsville end their days scouring Facebook for people who want the shot. It's largely been effective, but Lyde's concerned many of those who want a vaccine have already gotten one.
We've hit a wall, and getting the trust back is beyond the local health departments. Morgan County and Shelby County, we don't have the financial resources like the other health departments do to run public service campaigns.
State officials said Wednesday they're doing everything they can to encourage people to get vaccinated and are actively working to increase rural participation.
We are working with the Rural Health Association, with Purdue Extensions and Farm Bureau to determine how we can work together to increase that vaccination rate in our rural population.
The slowdown concerns Dixon, but he wouldn't say the state has hit a wall yet. He was expecting a lull considering the mass rush at the beginning when people were scheduling shots months out.
If you have some hot new product on the market, people rush into the stores to buy it, and then after it's been on the market for a few months, you start to see declining sales. So I don't think that this phenomenon that we're observing right now is really any different than some of those other scenarios.
Hitting the proverbial wall is possible, though. He says the convenience of walk-in appointments should help, especially with younger Hoosiers. But social pressure and private businesses requiring vaccines could also be keys to getting back to normal life. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Mitch Legan.
Indiana ranks just 45th in the nation in the percentage of its population that has been fully vaccinated. Governor Eric Holcomb is suing the Indiana General Assembly over legislation that would give lawmakers more authority to intervene during a public emergency. Many lawmakers felt sidelined during the COVID-19 pandemic as the governor issued dozens of executive orders, some of which legislators openly opposed. To give themselves more opportunity to intervene in the future, lawmakers passed a bill allowing them to call a special session during a public emergency. But Holcomb, supported by some constitutional experts, believes the Indiana Constitution exclusively gives the governor that power, and he's suing to find out for sure. The governor signed a controversial bill into law this week that takes away state protections for many of Indiana's wetlands. Wetlands provide habitat for wildlife, help reduce flooding in the state, and purify Indiana's fresh water. Indiana Public Broadcasting's Rebecca Thiel is here to tell us more about changes to the Indiana wetlands law. Hello, Becky. First, let's talk about the law. What is it? Why is it so important?
So basically, it protects anything that the federal government doesn't protect. And because of changes with the Trump administration, that's most wetlands in Indiana.
The bill aimed to get rid of the whole Indiana wetlands law. So what were the reasons behind that, and then how has the bill changed?
So it's important to know that there are three classes of wetlands. You have your Class 3 wetlands, which have lots of water, lots of wildlife. But then on the other side of the spectrum, you have your Class 1 wetlands. And that could be, a wet spot in a field, something that you may not think of as a wetland. And then Class 2s are anything between those. So farmers and developers really had a problem with the Class 1, those smaller wetlands. Home developers don't like to build over top of them, and farmers were getting into disputes with the Indiana Department of Environmental Management over what's a wetland. So this bill really took away protections for Class 1s and Class 2s, and those together, well, I should say some Class 2s, those together make up most of Indiana's wetlands.
I know the state departments of environmental management, natural resources were opposed to this bill. You reported more than, 100 different groups asked the governor to veto it. So what were his reasons then for signing it?
Governor Holcomb originally was not in favor of this bill, but in this current version, he said he trusts home developers and farmers to make the right decisions and be stewards of the land. It's a lot of organizations I don't believe agree with him The Indiana Chamber of Commerce said they wish that the governor had let lawmakers study the issue before making these changes.
All right, Rebecca, thank you so much for your reporting and for being here today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
Senator Todd Young has introduced legislation he hopes will help the United States remain competitive with China. Adam Pinsker reports.
The Endless Frontiers bill would invest billions into new areas of research and technology. According to a summary of the legislation, the bill creates a new directorate at the National Science Foundation focusing on innovation and commercialization related to key technology areas.
Things like artificial intelligence and quantum computing, genomics, the very platforms that will be able to build sectors of the economy.
The cost of the bill would be $100 billion over 5 years. It designates $10 billion to the Department of Commerce to establish 10 technology hubs around the country to be centers for research, development, and workforce training.
We are an information-driven, knowledge-driven economy. Sweat doesn't pay what it used to.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Adam Pinsker.
Now, several Republicans and Democrats have signed on to the bill, including Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk, the emerald ash borer continues to be a pest for local residents. Ahead, we take a look at the damage the small green beetle can cause. And the Little 500 is back this year after last year's race was canceled due to COVID-19. But a change in the race date means some teams had to drop out. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
Stay close to Indiana Newsdesk as we trace education issues all the way from the Capitol to your child's classroom. So many topics that arise each year in the State House affect what happens every day in the schoolhouse. The WTIU News Team is committed to helping you stay up to date with the issues that affect your family's future. Keep yourself informed. Tune in to Indiana Newsdesk, your source for regional and state in-depth news.
One small step.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. Bloomington annexation proceedings are returning in May following years of dispute with the Indiana General Assembly. The city announced this week the City Council will review annexation plans and vote on the proposal by September. Mayor John Hamilton hinted to the return of annexation during his State of the City address 2 months ago. He says the city will be releasing an annexation fiscal analysis next week.
I understand that people who are right next to a city boundary, for them, this feels like what is good for me to be in the city? I think the question really is, what's good for the whole community of Bloomington?
He says the annexation map can only shrink once the process begins and will change as City Council sees fit. Public input will be ongoing throughout the summer with possibly in-person meetings.
Indiana law establishes cities and towns as governmental entities that are meant to govern and represent urbanized areas. Counties are designed to provide governmental jurisdiction and oversight for all the areas of the county.
Hamilton's 2017 plan to annex nearly 10,000 acres of Monroe County was halted by an addition to that year's state budget bill. The city brought a lawsuit against Governor Eric Holcomb to prove the unconstitutionality of the measure. The Indiana Supreme Court ruled in favor of the city in December 2020. Hamilton says approved annexation wouldn't take effect until January 2024. There are opportunities for property owners to remonstrate or protest against annexation. And there's a new law in 2019 loosens restrictions on waivers. That's a contract prohibiting owners challenging annexation for extended city sewer service. Well, the Bloomington City Council proposed an amendment this week that would prohibit duplexes in the core neighborhoods. This measure would go against what the city and the Plan Commission have already approved in the few months of trying to change its zoning code through the Unified Development Ordinance.
I think the point is, do no harm. That is what I've been saying all along. Let's take a more conservative approach to this. Let's not put duplexes in the core at this particular time.
Now, over the last several months, the city has been rolling out its plans to make duplexes legal in residential areas in an effort to create more housing at reasonable rates. But many in the community fear that over time, it could turn all of the neighborhoods into rentals and disrupt the price of homes. City council members are on both sides of the issue.
When two units share the cost of one plot of land, that naturally makes them lower cost, whether rented or owned. Also, that there's less space to turn on the lights, heat, cool, etc., typically with a smaller unit in a duplex.
The council will continue to debate the issue during a special session on Tuesday. That meeting will be held virtually through the city's website starting at 6:30 p.m. At a time when more Hoosiers are getting outside, lawmakers have made budget cuts to Indiana's cash-strapped environmental agencies. That likely means polluters will face even less state oversight. But as Indiana Public Broadcasting's Rebecca Theo reports, Indiana could also be missing out on an opportunity to further grow the outdoor recreation industry.
It's no secret that people are spending more time outside due to the pandemic. It's led to crowding at some of Indiana's trails and campgrounds and more people buying bikes and RVs. Tim Maloney with the Hoosier Environmental Council says there's a demand for quality outdoor spaces and more of them.
Indiana is not equipped to meet that demand because we have so underinvested in our natural resources over the years.
More than half of all Indiana counties don't have enough acres set aside for local public parks, according to guidelines by the National Recreation and Parks Association. State lawmakers did appropriate some dollars from the federal COVID-19 relief package for trails, but it's unclear if the state is allowed to use that money for that purpose. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Rebecca Thiel.
Indiana University's Janet McCabe will officially become the Deputy Administrator of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. The U.S. Senate confirmed her appointment to the second highest position at the agency this week. McCabe is the director of IU's Environmental Resilience Institute, which works to help communities adapt to climate change. She's also a professor at the IU-PUI McKinney School of Law. On a press release from IU, McCabe says the challenges Indiana farmers, businesses, and communities face due to climate change are being felt across the country. The emerald ash borer continues to be a problem in the United States since it first appeared around the turn of the century. Holden Abshir reports on the small metallic green beetle killing ash trees.
Clifford Sadoff says the only thing worse than a dead ash tree is a dead ash tree in your house. Sadoff is an entomology professor and an extension specialist studying pest management at Purdue University, and he says dead ash trees are particularly dangerous. Not only are their limbs heavy, but they're only as strong as styrofoam and fall off dead trees.
I've seen some of the limbs in the dead tree just buried. They'll fall in. They're buried deep about a foot into the ground. So, if you're walking by that, it will kill you.
Most emerald ash borer colonies go unnoticed during the first year, with a visible increase in woodpecker holes and bark splits during the second year. EAB can kill a full-grown ash tree in just 3 years. Owners can be proactive on small trees using commercial products, but Sadoff said certified arborists are best equipped to treat large trees with insecticide injections.
The cost of removing these small trees and replacing them is much smaller than what you would for a large tree. But when you lose a large tree, you lose the value associated with that large tree.
The emerald ash borer has expanded to more than 30 states since first appearing in Michigan in 2002, but Sadoff said Indiana's worst days are in the past.
It's been around long enough to kill most of the ash trees. There's still plenty of ash trees that are left, but the initial wave of destruction has pretty much gone through most of the state.
For more information, visit eabindiana.info. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Holden Abshir.
Now, having a dead ash tree removed is not cheap. The cost to cut down a mature elm tree can be upwards of $2,000. Well, Toyota is investing more than $800 million to further expand its manufacturing facility in Princeton. Governor Eric Holcomb says the plant has come a long way after starting almost 25 years ago in a cornfield.
We are the single largest Japanese investment state in America per capita. And it's because of days like today that keep us in that pole position.
The money will go to add production to 2 new SUVs at the facility and hire an additional 1,400 workers. The new automobiles are part of the company's electric vehicle plans. One will be under the Toyota brand and the other will be part of the Lexus line, a first for the facility. This is the 3rd major investment the company has made in the last 4 years at the Princeton plant. And several large beams are being delivered to the I-69 construction zone in Martinsville. First up, a total of 14 bridge beams for a State Road 44 overpass that will be placed over what eventually will be I-69.
There's a number of other bridges that will have beam deliveries over the next few months.
Work will be done over the next several months on other overpasses linking downtown Martinsville to the commercial district east of town. The Martinsville phase of I-69 is still on pace to be completed by the end of this year. Well, the Little 500 bicycle races are back this year after being canceled in 2020 due to the pandemic, but they'll take place a month later than usual, which means there won't be the normal 33 teams in the starting grid for the men's and women's races. Pat Bean reports.
The sound of bicycle tires crunching on the cinder track again fills the springtime air at Bill Armstrong Stadium. Last year, the stadium sat empty as COVID-19 forced cancellation of the Little 500 for the first time since it began in 1951.
We spent the whole year training and we thought we would have a normal Little 500 race, and then, a month, 2 months beforehand, it's just all pulled out from under you.
The races this year will take place more than a month later than normal, and both races will be on a Wednesday, May 26th, rather than the traditional 3rd weekend of April dates. But because the race will come well after the end of IU's spring semester and graduation, some teams had to drop out.
The Army team, I think they had 3 of their teammates, they get called in for their training over the summer, so they couldn't do it.
For the Christian Student Fellowship's women's team, an internship in Nepal for one of its riders was the final straw. She had to leave the country on May 24th, just 2 days before the rescheduled race.
This race is awesome and we trained for it so hard, but it was just something we just couldn't not support her and tell her to go, and you need to do this and you need to go get this experience.
Wagner and her teammates have been training since the fall for the race, but an injury to one rider in December left them with just 3 riders for the team. Then came the announcement on March 4th the race had been postponed.
We just did this hard workout and then they just moved the race. We're like, this is just crazy. So it was just a lot of hard feelings, and that first initial blow was hard, and that first week was hard. We stopped training as hard as we were just those feelings were just very difficult to overcome.
The Student Foundation made the decision along with the IU's medical response team and the Monroe County Health Department. They felt holding the event, even without fans, would be safer after classes had ended and a number of the students had left town for the summer. Andrea Balzano, the director of the IU Student Foundation and a former rider, knew the decision would be unpopular with some and mean some teams would not be able to compete.
Our goal was to be able to host the Little 500 during the spring of 2021 somehow, some way. Team Pursuit, Missing Out, individual time trials are events that we run historically every spring. We were able to host this year.
Hamilton won the Missing Out event and helped put her team, Alpha Xi Delta, on the pole for the women's race. She's excited to be able to race this year, but will miss having fans.
Having your roommates and your friends being able to come out and support you is always, just an added level of pressure, I guess, to perform, another excitement level.
Both fields will be at their smallest ever. 25 men's teams and 18 women's teams will take the green flag May 26th. So this year, basically anyone who could put a team together could enter the race.
There's definitely been jokes about that, about getting, a team of townies together and having them create a team.
Yes, Breaking Away, which won 3 Oscars in 1979, remains relevant.
If it's not watched, the alumni will force it down our throats to watch, I promise you. It's still a pretty big deal.
And everyone involved in the Little 500 is banking on things being back to normal next spring, and it will once again be the centerpiece of what used to be called the world's greatest college weekend.
Hopefully we'll look much more like 2019 as opposed to 2020 or 2021.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Pat Bean.
No fans are allowed on May 26th, but both races will be live streamed at broadcast.iu.edu. Well, the 8 people killed in a mass shooting at a FedEx warehouse will be remembered Saturday during a public ceremony at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. The event, expected to draw thousands, comes 2 weeks after a former FedEx employee fatally shot the 8 people, including 4 members of Indianapolis Sikh community. Now, while the Sikh community is hosting the event, the hope is that people from across the state will join to support the affected families. The free event is scheduled from 1 to 4 p.m. Saturday and is open to the public. That's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. Alumni.iu.edu. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.